The 11th of September, 2001 became a black day in the history of America, which changed American history forever. On this day, terrorist attacks took place on many big cities of America like New York, Washington, D.C., Shanksville, and Pennsylvania, due to which about 3,000 people lost their lives. On this day, many attacks happened one after the other, so no one knew when and where the next attack would happen. All the attacks were so big that many big buildings in America were destroyed in just a few hours, and the whole of America was frightened by the threat of attacks. The atmosphere became so serious and delicate that American President George W. Bush was airbound for about 8 hours that day. On the advice of the Pentagon and CIA, the president was airbound for his safety. No place on American soil was safe that day. Some people were vacating the attacked areas, while others were running towards those places in search of their family, friends, and relatives. Neither the government nor the media had any idea. Everyone was just scared as to who would be the victim of the next attack. However, after 3 airplanes hit the World Trade Center and the Pentagon one after the other, the US government had banned all flights. And after 3 attacks there was no attack. Actually, the terrorists had hijacked 4 airplanes, but the 4th one collapsed before it could destroy any place. The credit for saving America from the 4th attack goes to the passengers, who risked their lives and did not allow the hijackers to do so, and faced them bravely in the moving plane, due to which the plane crashed in a field in Pennsylvania before reaching its destination. After the attacks, while on one hand America was trying to pull itself together, on the other hand the needle of suspicion of the American government started moving all around. American agencies immediately started turning their attention to countries like Afghanistan, Iraq, and Sudan. These days, America also became suspicious of Iraq's Saddam Hussein, but soon Al-Qaeda took responsibility for these blasts. At that time, Osama Bin Laden was leading Al-Qaeda. Then FBI and CIA started search operations to find Laden, and with this America started counting the hours to the death of Osama bin Laden. This was the first attack on America after World War II in which thousands of innocent Americans were killed. Due to this sudden attack, questions were being raised on America's security and intelligence. America could not consider itself helpless and powerless in front of the entire world. That is why now avenging 9/11 and eliminating Osama bin Laden has become America's top priority. And this was the reason why a reward of $25 million was placed on the head of Osama bin Laden alone. It took 10 years for America's revenge to be completed, but the question arises that why did this attack take place at all? Why were the American people left to die in this manner, and why did America take 10 years to take its revenge? 9/11 was the terrorist incident that shook America, the seeds of which had been sown many years earlier in the Cold War. It started from Afghanistan in 1979, where America started supporting Mujahideen fighters to remove USSR from Afghanistan, and gave birth to a terrorist who was going to be the biggest headache for America. Osama bin Laden belonged to a rich family of Saudi Arabia. His education was also very good. Despite coming from a big business family, Laden always advocated conservative thoughts. As he grew up, his pro-Islamic thoughts made him very radical. Laden understood Islamic teachings better than anyone. He believed that Islam should be the only religion, and society should be run only by the system of Sharia law. Laden always blamed Western countries for destroying Islamic culture. He always considered Western countries, especially America, as the enemy of Islamic countries and Islam. Even in the Israel and Palestine war, America always supported Israel against the Arab countries. Laden was always irritated by these things. Laden's growing hatred for the USA linked him to Islamic extremist groups. Its speeches and its financial support started reaching many Islamic countries, and its influence had also increased significantly among extremist Islamic groups. When America attacked Iraq in the Gulf War of 1990 and 1991, Osama bin Laden took it as an attack on the religion of Islam. Laden was not liking America's increasing influence in Muslim countries. Especially, he was seeing increasing American intervention in Muslim countries like Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, and Somalia. On top of that, America's support for Israel was also a proof of hatred towards Islam in his eyes. In such a situation, Osama bin Laden became anti-America. Earlier, Osama bin Laden was fighting against the Soviet Union along with America. Now he has turned his stance against America itself. In 1979, when USSR troops were trying to support the communist government there, Osama bin Laden started providing financial support to the Mujahideen, the purpose of which was to stop the increasing influence of the Soviet Union in Afghanistan. These days, America was training the youth of Afghanistan to become Mujahideen and was supporting them in every way, so that he can oust the USSR from Afghanistan. But at that time America had no idea how much moral support this action would provide to those spreading violence in the name of the jihad in Islamic countries. In those days, Laden was also associated with the Mujahideen and was promoting jihad. However, till now the USA felt that this extremist group formed with their support was only against the USSR. But bin Laden had vowed to spread jihad and Islam throughout the world. In such a situation, how long could America stay away from the fire of hatred? Every move of America started harassing Laden, after which in August 1996, Laden issued a fatwa against America and declared jihad. In February 1998, Osama bin Laden issued a second fatwa saying that Americans should be killed wherever they were seen in the world. His fatwa was not only for soldiers and leaders, but for every citizen of America. After the 9/11 attacks, when Osama bin Laden wrote a letter to the American people, he said that the American government has always been against Islam, and wherever anti-Islamic activities take place all over the world, they support them. That is why it is very important to punish them. In this letter, Laden clearly wrote how America killed Muslims in Somalia. Even when Muslims were being killed in Chechnya, America supported Russia. Apart from this, he also wrote about many such issues due to which his hatred for America increased. The CIA was already targeting Al-Qaeda and Osama bin Laden. In such a situation, when such large-scale attacks took place in America, it did not take long for them to understand who was behind all this. In those days, Osama bin Laden was leading Al-Qaeda. The American intelligence agency, CIA, knew very well that no matter how good their relations were with Saudi Arabia, but because of the way America had always supported Israel in the Arab-Israeli war, Laden considered America the biggest devil and the enemy of Islam. Osama bin Laden, born in Saudi Arabia, was very angry with America's interference in the affairs of Islamic countries, and he was the one who had prepared the plan for this attack on America. At that time, bin Laden's hideout was Afghanistan, and Afghanistan was ruled by the Taliban. America demanded Osama bin Laden from Taliban, but Taliban rejected America's demand. When America could not get any news of Laden, then America started the global war on terrorism by joining forces of many countries and NATO and declared war on Afghanistan. Many economic sanctions were imposed on Afghanistan and bombing was started. After this, American soldiers also started search operations in Afghanistan to capture bin Laden. But despite several operations, no news of Laden was found. Osama bin Laden did not use any phone since 1998. The American intelligence agency CIA also knew this because in 1998 itself, Osama bin Laden had made America its enemy by attacking the American embassy in Kenya and Tanzania. He used to convey his message from one place to another with the help of his companions. However, after a month, the CIA received information about Osama bin Laden hiding in the hills named Tora Bora located on the Pakistan-Afghanistan border. And then what happened was that the American-led coalition troops raided the cave of Tora Bora. This attack by coalition troops was one of the most important military engagements of the Afghanistan war. During this operation, which lasted from the 30th of November 2001 to the 17th of December 2001, American troops along with the Northern Alliance started this operation against the Taliban and Al-Qaeda. In this operation, the United Air Forces of Britain and Germany, along with America, carried out such air strikes that entire hills started collapsing in no time. In this operation, which lasted for 1 month and 17 days, more than 200 terrorists defending Osama bin Laden were killed. But even after such a quick and vicious operation, America was disappointed. In fact, during this entire operation, Laden had entered Pakistan through the border of Afghanistan, avoiding every attack. Even though Osama bin Laden was not found through this operation, some people who had contact with bin Laden at one time or the other were definitely caught. The CIA kept trying to search for bin Laden through all these links, but years passed and there was failure every time. For many years, search operations for Osama bin Laden continued like this, but no significant turn came in this case till 2009. This year, elections were held in America and America got a new president. On the 20th of January, 2009, Barack Obama becomes the new president of America. As soon as Obama becomes president, he gives orders to intensify search operations against bin Laden. Finding Osama is the top priority of the Obama administration. As soon as the order comes from the government, the intelligence and defense units also come into action. Even after the search operations were intensified, the CIA was still unable to get any specific information. However, then the CIA came to know about a Pakistani courier of Osama bin Laden through the detainees imprisoned in Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, whose name was Abu Ahmed al-Kuwaiti, after which CIA started keeping an eye on it. It was only in 2007 that the CIA came to know its real name. His real name was Ibrahim Syed Ahmed. He was an important part of Al-Qaeda and Laden's favorite courier. The CIA now had its first real link to bin Laden's hideout. After searching for bin Laden's courier and his location for almost 2 years, in 2009 the CIA also came to know about this man, that he lives in Jabotabad, Pakistan. But meanwhile, in December 2009, once again such an incident happened with the American intelligence agency which shocked the entire America. Actually, CIA had built its base camp and checkpoint in Khost province of Afghanistan, located near the Afghanistan and Pakistan border. The CIA kept an eye on the entire area from this base camp. What is happening inside the border of Pakistan was also known through drones. On December 30th, 2009, when the whole world was waking up in anticipation of a new year, a Taliban suicide bomber blasted himself near a checkpoint. 7 CIA operatives, including a Taliban suicide bomber, lost their lives in this blast. This incident had now broken all the patience of America, and the CIA had tried its best to complete the operation, which was going on slowly till now. By August 2010, CIA operatives pursued al-Kuwaiti, finally reaching his Abbottabad residence. The CIA operative continued following al-Kuwaiti for the next year. While tracking al-Kuwaiti's daily activities, he was surprisingly seen frequenting a secure compound. The CIA now guessed that this building was a safe house and it has been made to hide some important person. However, due to speculation, it was not right to take any action. Hence the CIA started taking satellite photos of buildings like this fortress and the people visiting here. Many people used to come here often, but no one had ever seen bin Laden here. However, after studying the structure of the building, the CIA decided that this place had been prepared to hide Osama bin Laden. Based on photographs and evidence, the CIA believed that Osama bin Laden lived in this building with some of his close men and his youngest wife and children. However, till now there were only assumptions whose confirmation was necessary. And that's why the CIA created a new plan to verify these assumptions. According to the plan, the CIA sent a Pakistani doctor, Shakil Afridi, and some nurses to that house on the pretext of vaccination. Dr. Shakil Afridi was a top medic in Khyber Tribal District, and as head of health services, he also supervised several US-funded vaccination programs, due to which when the CIA gave him the task of entering the building, he made the pretext of vaccination program and entered as a government employee in Giyashan town, Abbottabad, where Osama bin Laden was hiding under the nose of Pakistani military. Now, according to the CIA plan, on the pretext of vaccination, some nurses would go to the Abbottabad compound and take blood samples of the children living there, so that with the help of those blood samples, DNA test can be done to find out whether the children or people living in the building have any relation with bin Laden or not. No one knew how much Dr. Shakil was able to help the CIA after this fake vaccination program. But on May 23, 2011, 20 days after bin Laden's death, Dr. Shakil was taken into custody by the Pakistani intelligence agency ISI, after which he was sentenced to 33 years of imprisonment for helping the CIA. It had been 9 years since the 9/11 attacks, and the American intelligence agency was still searching for Osama bin Laden. But then one day CIA Director Leon Panetta and his colleague met President Barack Obama and informed him that they had received preliminary information about Osama bin Laden. In fact, during its surveillance in that big fortress building of Abbottabad, the CIA had sometimes seen a man coming out with a loud noise, which was named the pacer by CIA officers. There was no phone or landline facility in this house. Even the garbage collectors used to take garbage to all the nearby houses, but the garbage of this house was burnt inside. The CIA had guessed that the pacer was Osama bin Laden. After this, by making a three-dimensional structure of this area, President Barack Obama was informed about the attack on this house. A plan was made that America would not give information about this operation to Pakistan, but Hillary Clinton believed that if this was done, the relations between America and Pakistan could deteriorate. After which, ending the matter, a decision was taken that if Pakistan gets information about this operation during the operation, then the American ambassador will immediately talk to the Pakistani government and will handle the matter. The target of this operation was to capture Osama bin Laden and the people living in that building. The plan of the CIA officers was that, if Osama and his associates surrender, they would be captured alive. After the plan was approved, the US Navy SEALs were ready to conduct a raid in Abbottabad, Pakistan. The time had come for the CIA, which had been searching for Osama bin Laden for years, to execute its plan. This day was the 29th of April, 2011. The entire team was now ready to carry out the operation. Before starting the operation, US Navy SEAL Team 6 conducted 6 mock drills to counter all types of potential threats, so that Laden does not escape at any cost. On May 1, 2011, President Obama thoroughly reviewed this operation and approved the plan. 2 Black Hawk UH-60 helicopters were prepared for this operation. And in this operation, 23 best commandos of SEAL Team 6, a translator who knew Pakistani language, and a military dog Cairo were included. At 10:30 p.m. on May 1, 2011, both Black Hawk helicopters of the US Air Force take off from the Jalalabad Forward Operating Base in Afghanistan for Abbottabad, Pakistan. President Barack Obama was watching this operation live with CIA Director Leon Panetta. It was around 12:30 in the night. By this time, the entire area of Abbottabad was deserted and there was no electricity in the area. The entire city was sleeping deeply in the black night. The Navy SEAL team had reached Abbottabad to complete the operation. SEAL soldiers were entering the 3 floors of the building. The ground floor was completely empty. When the SEAL soldiers reach the first floor of the building, they hear someone on the first floor. Before the soldiers can even reach the door after taking position, rapid firing starts from the other side. To save themselves, the SEALs team blew up the entire door with a grenade. Within no time, the SEAL soldiers had entered the door, and by the time the other person got chance, the soldiers had completed their work. Actually, in this first clash, Osama bin Laden's courier Abra and his wife Bushra were killed. In the second room of the same first floor, Osama bin Laden's second courier Abu Ahmed al-Kuwaiti was sleeping. And by the time Abu Ahmed took his gun in his hand after seeing the SEALs, the soldiers killed him too. Bin Laden lived on the second and third floors of that house. The SEALs team also received instructions that Osama bin Laden's wife and children also lived with him. The SEALs officer had no intention of harming his wife and children. Now the SEALs team had just reached the second floor when a young boy stood in front with a gun in his hand. But by the time the boy could attack, the SEALs team had killed him too. This was Osama bin Laden's son, Khalid. There were some other people in the rooms who were taken into custody by the SEALs team. After this, as the officers moved towards the third floor, the door of a room opened from the front, after which Osama bin Laden and the SEAL soldiers were face to face, but suddenly a woman stands in front of Osama bin Laden. SEALs officers could not leave Laden at any cost, so they shot the woman in the leg. The woman fell on the ground after being shot, after which the SEAL officers fired 3 bullets into Osama bin Laden's chest. With this, Laden fell on the ground and collapsed. American President Barack Obama and the CIA director, who were watching this operation live, could not see anything on the screen for about 20 minutes. The screen was visible only black, due to which the restlessness of the officials sitting in the room with Barack Obama was increasing. After this operation, which lasted for 40 minutes, at 1 o'clock in the night, CIA Director Leon Panetta tells the president on the screen that enemy killed in action. Finally, the main objective of the operation was accomplished, and apart from Osama bin Laden, 4 more people were killed in this operation. Osama bin Laden's son Khalid, Kuria, Abu Ahmed al-Kuwaiti, Abu's brother Abra, and Abra's wife Bushra. As soon as the news of Osama's death was heard, a wave of happiness ran across everyone from Barack Obama to all the officials sitting in the room. But now was not the time to express happiness. Now there was a wait for the American forces to return from Pakistan, and after some time all the SEAL members reached their base safely without any loss, and that too with Osama's dead body. America did not have any kind of communication with Pakistan during this operation. Joint Chief Staff Chairman Michael Mullen had called Pakistan Army Chief Ashfaq Parvez Kayani at 3 o'clock in the morning and informed him about this operation. In the morning, President Barack Obama addressed the world and said that America has killed Osama bin Laden.
Tonight, I can report to the American people and to the world that the United States has conducted an operation that killed Osama bin Laden, the leader of Al-Qaeda.
On May 6th, 4 days after the death of Osama bin Laden, Al-Qaeda confirmed the death of Osama bin Laden through its website. At the same time, they also swore that Al-Qaeda would definitely take revenge from America. A few days later, Osama bin Laden's body was thrown into the sea because both Saudi Arabia and Afghanistan had refused to accept Laden's body. Laden, who became a jihadi in the name of religious war throughout his life, did not even get a funeral at the last moment. Pakistan's Prime Minister Yusuf Raza formed a commission for investigation, which in its report stated that the reason behind Osama bin Laden's hiding inside Pakistan was the failure of Pakistan's intelligence agency. And this is how America finally eliminated Osama bin Laden.